Hi guys, this is Dormouse03 continuing my Assassin's Creed 3 Perfectionist Guide, in which I'm going to be getting all of the optional objectives for all of the main missions. And this is sequence number 10. And so this is the first mission of sequence 10. It's called Alternate Methods. And we'll get right to it. So the first part of this is just sort of following Haytham around, which is easy. So you just follow him, and then once you get to where you're going, you're gonna have a couple of optional constraints that are fairly tricky. And so since this is gonna take a little while to get to those, we can go ahead and talk about them. The first one will be to use guards to block the shots of a firing squad twice. And so for that one, you really have to be sort of on the ball. You need to be getting those two kills out of the way right at the beginning. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself running out of people to grab. And they don't really want to line up for it. You kind of have to force them into the situation, so you want to be aware that that's coming up, because you're going to want to get started working on it right away. After you do that, then you can just clear out the rest of the people and move on with the mission. And then the second part, with your second optional constraint on this mission, is probably one of the trickiest in the game, in my opinion, where you have to catch up to a guy and tackle him from above. But we'll get to that one in a minute. This is the first one that I was talking about. So you just want to jump down here, kill one of these guys, and then sort of immediately you want to be maneuvering yourself over toward the firing squad. They will fire at sort of regular intervals, and then what I did was just block and not counter, not try to kill anybody, just try to keep someone over here so that when they would fire again, I could use them as a human shield. So once you do that twice, like I said, you want to knock that out near the beginning. Otherwise, you're going to run into a situation where people aren't in a good position, there aren't enough of them left to be able to do what you need to do. And luckily, a lot of people, luckily or unluckily, a lot of people, there was a third, are focusing on Haytham right now, and so that can be bad for you because it kind of prevents them from being in a spot where they can be easily used as shields. So this is the next part. You want to, I like to cut him off right here. You want to be running straight away from the beginning of this, because you want to catch up to this guy. Cut your corners tight. Make sure you use the environment right there. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bump into him. And that slows him down long enough for me to get in front of him up here so that I can do the tackle from above. And that was the only way that I could get that done, because it happened so fast. I tried climbing up the scaffolding and jumping down on him a bunch of times. And often it didn't want to work. It would put me into a position where I was hanging on a clothesline or just jumping off at a random angle, and I would have him highlighted, but it still wouldn't. When I pushed B, it did nothing. So I had to reassess my strategy for that moment. And what I did just then, the trick to just sort of run into him to make him slow down a little bit so that you can get far enough ahead of him to be able to do the short little hop up on the box and jump down on him, worked pretty well. So that would be my advice for that situation. And then this right here is just sort of shoving him along, which is satisfying. And that will be the end to that mission. So you'll have a little cutscene there, and then you will have your mission complete with your 100% synchronization. And so just to sort of recap, you want to use guards as human shields twice, and you want to tackle the guy at the end from above. And those are your 2 optional constraints during that mission. And so we're going to move on to mission number 2, and it is called Broken Trust. So when you start this mission, you will get the optional objective to not touch the ground. And so this isn't too bad. You just have to be sort of prepared for the situation that you're going to come up against. You want to make sure that you have your gun reloaded. You want your pistol to be loaded because you don't want to have to worry about having to reload that once you get to this first encounter with guards. And so once you reach a certain spot, it will tell you to stop the Patriot messengers within the time limit. And so you have 3 minutes from the time that starts counting down. And so right now you want to shoot that guy, and then reload your pistol as you're moving to the next location. Because you do have plenty of time to do this, but you want to know what you're gonna do. Otherwise you're gonna run into a spot where if you have to, if you get caught reloading, or if you aren't really sure what's gonna happen, it can be bad. So I like to do a horse-to-horse assassination on this first guy, and then shoot a second dude, and then reload my pistol. If you try to do several horse-to-horse assassinations in a row, it could work, but once they get alerted to your presence, sometimes it won't let you assassinate them on their horses, and you'll just sort of fall off the back of it, and that will fail that do not touch the ground constraint. So you don't want to do that. You can get away with one, like I did, and then shoot the other 2. And so now you're trying to catch up to this last person. He sort of takes off, and just make sure you have reloaded your pistol. And a good tip for this last one is to make sure you have at least 4 or 5 shots in your pistol. You catch up to him, take him down, and that will stop your clock. So that will then complete that first optional constraint to stop all of those messengers. And then all you need to do is sort of be careful. Don't fall off your horse. Don't accidentally get off your horse. Just sort of be cautious. You don't have a time limit right now. You just want to make your way through the woods and to the camp. And once you cross the threshold into the camp, that will complete your second optional objective, to not touch the ground. So you can get off your horse at this point, but I ride him all the way into the cutscene. So this is the last part of this mission, and what you want to do is make sure that you take down all of the Native American guys with non-lethal takedowns. So I think there's 6, yep, 6 that you have to take down. Just make sure you have your fists selected, and this part is pretty easy. As long as you made sure that you selected your fists, you will get this without any problems. They're all sort of walking away from you, and so you can do this the sort of running takedown from behind on a lot of them, and that will allow you to take them down and keep moving. I don't know if this has a timer on it. I don't think so, but you have plenty of time to get to them. Whack that guy upside a tree. And they're all fairly close together. So it's not like you're gonna be moving too far. And so once you take them all down, you're gonna have another little cutscene, and then this scene right here where you just have to press X. And then see what comes after and feel really bad about yourself for a while. Alright, so that is the end of that mission. As soon as you come out of that cutscene, you will get your 100% synchronization for Broken Trust, and we'll be moving on to mission number 3. So just to recap, you wanted to stop all of the messengers within 3 minutes, you wanted to not touch the ground, and you wanted to take down the 6 Native American warriors with non-lethal takedowns. So this is mission number 3, sequence 10, and it's called the Battle of Monmouth. And again, you do have some optional constraints here to be doing, so we have something to talk about, which is great. So you start off using this cannon, and within this sequence you are going to get, if you get all of the optional constraints, you should also get an achievement called Circus Act for killing a certain number of these guys with one cannonball. So you want to be neutralizing 8 of these platoons with a single shot. Do that, kill an entire platoon with a single cannonball, and you want to do that 8 times. And then you have a second optional objective to take out 2 of these platoons using a single cannonball. And so right now I'm just trying to clear out some of this area. You also want to make sure that you don't lose too many of your patriots, because that is the way that you can sort of fail. You have that timer counting down at the top is how much time you have left to keep your patriots alive. So as long as the patriots bar doesn't run out. So now we have a big group in the middle, and if you fire a cannonball sort of into that, you will kill 2 platoons with a single shot. You'll get your achievement for Circus Act, and you'll take out 2 more platoons. So now we only need 1 more, and we have plenty of them. Just sort of making sure that the circle is kind of around the entire platoon, and that they've stopped moving will make it work out for you. And so now we've gotten our 8 out of 8, we've killed 2 platoons with a single cannonball, and now all we need to do is just continue to shoot these guys so that we don't lose our patriots. They're not doing so well, because we've sort of been waiting around for platoons to arrive so that we can take them down with a single cannonball, but now you need to kind of take care of some business. The ones that are sort of red are your top priority, because they're the ones that are actively kind of firing on your guys. So you want to make sure to take them down first. And as long as you're clearing enough of them out, your patriots should be okay to hang on for the rest of this mission. And so you saw there where I didn't take out all of those guys. I think the platoons in the middle are much easier to hit with that single shot. So that's kind of some advice for that area. Right now you have your last optional objective is to stop 3 executions from taking place. So you're going to be running along and you'll see these little dots come up on your mini-map, and then those will be people that are getting executed. And so all you have to do is run up and sort of interrupt those guys. You don't have to kill them all, and I would recommend that you don't kill all of the people at the firing squad. You just have to sort of run in there, maybe kill 1 or 2 of them, and sort of stop them from doing what they're doing. So that was number 2. You sort of run in, take out a couple of them, and move on. And so there's the 3rd one that just popped up on the right. Run in there, bust it up. And see, I didn't even kill anyone right then. I just sort of ran in, distracted them for a second, and that completed that constraint. And so you should have plenty of time to run up here. If you get into a conflict with those guys, though, it's going to slow you down. So that is the end of that mission and the end of Sequence 10. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope it was helpful. And that's Sequence 10 complete, so I will see you for Sequence 11.